You know, I've had the question in the past, is a hammock system really lighter than a tent? Once you get the straps, the carabiners, the tarp, all of that kind of stuff, it really starts to add up. So today I want to take a look at my systems. I've got an old backpacking tent that I've had for years, and we'll compare that to two separate hammock systems that I have and see which one is really lighter. So when I first started looking into hammocks, I honestly had this question, and I've received this question, so I know it's definitely out there in people's mind, especially those who are probably tent people who are looking to get into the hammock system. So let's take a look first at the Alps Mountaineering. This is the Zephyr 2 tent. This is a backpacking tent. It's a two-person tent. Let's go ahead and throw it on the scale and see what it comes back as. The tent coming in at 4 pounds 14 ounces. Next, let's take a look at the war bonnet system that I have. That is the Blackbird for the hammock and the Mama Jamba for the tarp. And also, this is the underquilt. On this one, it's the Eno Vulcan underquilt. Now, in full disclosure, this isn't the lightest underquilt out there. But again, this is my system, so I just want to see how it compares. Let's take a look. There it is, coming in at 4 pounds in comparison to the tent weight at 4 pounds 14 ounces. Now let's go ahead and look at the whole Eno setup that I have. That is the Eno double nest, the Eno ProFly tarp, double nest is the hammock, ProFly tarp, and the Eno Vulcan for the underquilt. This is a great system, but not so much weight conscientious. So let's go ahead and take a look at all that, plus the webbing that I have. I just had that laying around for my old climbing days, so again, not necessarily weight conscientious there either. Let's just throw it on the scale and see what happens. So that weight is coming back at 4 pounds 10 ounces. So you can see, again, in comparison to the tent, 4 pounds 14 ounces, that once you start adding all this hammock stuff up, it's not that much different than some tent weights. Now, to further the discussion, what I did is I jumped on REI's website and I just looked at the top 4 selling backpacking tents for fun. The first one, weight-wise, was 5.7 ounces. Next was 5.5 ounces. The third was 3.13 ounces. So that's lighter than all my hammock setups. And the last one was 3.5 ounces, again lighter. So those average out to be about 4.6 ounces. So again, those are in the ballpark of where my hammock system is set up. Now this is a separate video is to go into the price, go into the weight, go into which one is better for what circumstances for certain people. That's a whole different video. I'll get into that video another time. The point of this video, which I think is interesting, is again, with my system, both hammock systems are not that much different than the tent system. Now again, I can go lighter weight on some of these things. I can find a lighter weight underquilt. I can trim back on some of that webbing to get those ounces down a little bit. But overall, I think what this shows us is this, that a tent, and then once you get everything for a hammock, are pretty comparable depending on what type of tent, what type of hammocks that you get. The one thing I can see about a hammock is you have a whole bunch of different variables that you can play with to really keep that weight down, because you have the hammock that's separate than the tarp, that's separate from the underquilt, that's separate than some of the suspension systems that you have. Whereas tents, you got a tent and it typically comes with its own rain fly, so there's not a lot of mix and match you can do there. That's kind of getting into that other video that I discussed earlier, but again, I hope this kind of helps some of those newbies out that had the same question that I did when I first got into hammocking, as well as others that have asked me about this, is look, when I start adding everything up on the hammock, is it really that much lighter than a tent? Again, because I know this might upset some people. There's a lot of mix and matching you can do, but just in my systems right here, we have a One of my hammock systems being 4 pounds 12 ounces, the other one being 4 pounds with everything, and the Alps Mountaineering tent coming in at 4 pounds 14 ounces. So I hope that gives you guys something to chew on, something to think about, and answers that question for you. Thanks much. See ya.